Hello and welcome to Getting Clean on the Prairies. Today in the Getting Clean kitchen, I'm going to share with you an easy to make recipe for red pickled onions. This is a 1-jar recipe that you can make in less than 30 minutes and will be ready to eat within a few days. And at the end of this video, I will share with you a couple ways that you can enjoy these red onions. So let's get started. If you've watched my spicy green bean pickles video, this will be basically the same type of a brine recipe. This is just a great basic brine that works for any kind of pickling, I think. So we're going to start with that, and I will run through the recipe and measurements as we go through it. I just wanted to show you today, I went to the farmer's market in the city thinking that my onions and garlic weren't worthy of this recipe, and I did pick up some bigger and nicer looking onions and garlic, but those people are professional gardeners and to be expected that they're going to have bigger and better looking produce, and I think for my first year these turned out pretty good. So try not to be too hard on yourself if you're a beginner gardener like me, and just work with what you got and enjoy it. We're also going to be testing out my new tripod that I just ordered from Amazon that I think should make my kitchen videos a little higher quality and hopefully better for the viewers. So we'll be testing that out, and I'll leave the link to this tripod below. But so far I'm happy with how it works. So for this recipe we're going to use, of course, some red onions, some garlic, and I'm going to make just one small jar. So we're going to use my food processor here to slice up the onions, because apparently fresh onions can really make you cry. So we're just going to run it through here. I'm going to be doing some other shredding and slicing of other garden stuff today, so I figured I might as well just use this machine. So you can do that, or you can just slice up your onions by hand or use a mandolin to slice them as well. In the brine we're going to use apple cider vinegar, black peppercorns, sea salt, and some sugar, and that should be everything. So let's start getting everything ready here. So before we start slicing up the onions, we're just going to put together the brine and get it going on the stove so we can get that heated up. So to start with, I have I'm using apple cider vinegar. You can use white vinegar if you want as well. So I'm going to be putting in 1 cup. And here I have some coarse sea salt. You can use pickling salt or any other kind of coarse salt that you want. And this is 1.5 tablespoons. I have 3 tablespoons of sugar. And then you can add any other spices that you want. If you have pickling spices, you want to add something hot like cayenne pepper, flakes, something like that. Today I'm just going to use some black peppercorns. So we're going to put this on the stove and bring it to a simmer, and then we'll get slicing the onions. So I've taken one of the big onions that I got today, and I'm going to see how much 1 onion makes me and see how much I'm going to need for fill the 1 jar. So we're just going to throw it in the food processor and slice. That is very easy. You can see I got some nice slices here, so I'm just going to fill up the jar. This is the jar that we're going to fill today. It is, I'm thinking a couple cups. I didn't actually measure, but we're going to see how much, if 1 onion will fill this jar, or if we're going to need more onions. So we'll start by filling the jar. And as you can see, See the onions there through the slicer on the food processor makes them nice and thin, which is what I'm looking for. If you like a thicker onion, you can do that, or whatever works for you best. Thinking I'll put this canning filter on here. If you don't have one of these, I would recommend purchasing one. I got this at the dollar store. It's great for filling your jars, and especially when you're using hot liquids. So, and it looks like one large red onion. It's going to fill this jar nicely. And I am going to now just slice up some garlic and stick some in here as well. So I'm just thinly slicing a clove of garlic. I'm going to use one of my garlic cloves from my garden. One of the reasons I'm trying out this recipe is because I personally do not care for raw onions in my food. I find it a little bit too strong. But I see how people enjoy red onions on their burgers and in their salads and stuff. So. And I've heard that pickling them just kind of takes that bite out and makes a nicer tasting raw onion. So I am hoping that this is going to be my new thing. So I have the garlic in there now, and the brine has been simmering, so we're ready to pour it on. Okay, so I brought the brine off the stove now, and I've let it sit for about 5 minutes just to cool slightly, not too long. I did let it simmer on the stove for about 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to strain it before I put it into the jar to strain out the peppercorns, because I don't want those to be in my onions when I go to eat them. And another option is you could actually put the peppercorns in at the bottom of the jar if you want to keep the seasonings in the jar while it's pickling. You can put some of your spices down at the bottom. But I just think this is the way I'm going to do it, so that when I go to fork out a mouthful of onions, I don't get any peppercorns in there. So I'm going to just pour it on here. It smells good already. And then you should just take something like a spatula or a wooden stick, chopstick, and just make sure there's no air bubbles. Go around the sides with that. The smell is so good. And that is it. So I'm going to put this in the fridge for, I guess, 3 days, if I can wait that long. And then I'm going to bring you back for the taste test, and we'll see how they turned out. Good. Really good. Not too much of a bite. Nice, sweet and salty flavor to it. I think this can go good on a lot of things. So I've just added some of these red onions to my garden salad here that I drizzled with some olive oil, and just add however many red onions you'd like, and then just take a little bit of the brine, sprinkle that around as well, and toss, and you got a beautiful oil and vinegar salad dressing. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comments below and don't forget to click on the goat to subscribe. Thanks for watching.